Well, hello again, everyone. This is Bob Mannery, and you're listening to Tom and Mike, AM in the PM, only on A2D Radio. Tom and Mike, these guys are fucking awesome. But their side piece, Greg, that guy is a goddamn problem.
Let's go, Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
A2D Radio, live from the Real Talk Studios. Every Wednesday night, though, we're brought to you by our certified public accountant. Make them yours. Gibson Mayer, LLC. Find them on the web, gibsonmayer.com. Tom Renone, Michael Mataraki, Dan McGuckin, Ryan Brodo in the ones and twos. Greg Milwaukee not here tonight. Robbie Pove took a little vacation. So we're going to do it with us four boys, and we're going to rock it out. There's going to be a lot of fucking intensity tonight. People aren't going to be happy about some of the conversations we're going to have throughout the show. But
we'll do it live.
If we have time permits, coolest uniforms in sports, we'll go over all that. Sixers GM search still going on, if there even is one.
Search.
They're really digging deep for guys. They really are. Odubel Herrera, we're going to talk about it, yell about it, scream about it. His slumpage. People don't want him playing. And we're going to dive deep into Odubel Herrera later on in the show. 5 up, 5 down. We'll talk about which 5 players have, make or break time to make the Eagles 53-man roster. We'll talk about that, which ties right into our poll question brought to you by Scanzano Sports. Find on the web, scanzanosports.com. Which Eagles veteran is most likely to get cut this season? Chance Warmack, Kamar Aiken, Matt Jones, Steven Means. Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. A2D Radio is where you can find us. We're going to answer your questions, concerns, Phillies, live reactions throughout the rest of the game here. Gentlemen, let's talk about it.
Before we get started, welcome home.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm at right now, honestly. I have RV jet lag, if that's even a thing. RV lag.
Tell us a little bit about the jaunt to San Diego and your trip to Petco.
Oh, the jaunt to San Diego started out with a broken
you didn't have to go there. But
stuff broke. Generator wasn't working. AC wasn't working. It started off as a bad first 2 days.
Missed the game in Arizona.
And then it picked up, and it was an amazing time.
You were like the Griswolds going across the country.
Exactly.
Shit breaking down
exactly.
on you.
But nothing.
Grandma roped to the bumper.
Listen, it could have happened. It could have happened. Grandma wasn't with us, but, anybody else in the family could have been roped on the ride back. The ride out was great. It was a great time. Listen, it was awesome. It was fun to see Petco. Phillies Nation represented well over there. Tons of Phillies fans, which you would expect. We always travel well, especially when we're playing well. But a beautiful stadium. It would have been nice to see Chase Field in Arizona. But I figured, hey, let's just go see 2 at Petco. And the one was the 1-0 game where Gabe Kapler doesn't want to bunt. And the second one was a dub. So felt good to get at least a dub going all the way out, 2,700 miles. And it would have been nice for the Phillies on Instagram to respond. Once in a while when you tell them you drove 2,700 goddamn miles to see them, and you're all about analytics, you're all about numbers, but nobody wants to read them numbers.
Well,
okay?
As someone who went 2,700 miles last year and saw them get swept in 3 games in L.A., I'm feeling you.
You got it.
I'm feeling you.
You got it.
The most disastrous loss of the season last year, and I was there. Good Lord.
Nice traveling.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by.
It was great though. I mean, I saw stuff that you would never see. Everybody always talks about driving cross country. Like when I was Danny's age, it was something like I told all my friends let's do it. It's awesome. And we got to see a little bit of Route 66. It was just a cool time.
Oh yeah.
Tons of land, babe. Tons of land out there. If you don't know, we're all crammed in the little freaking places. Tons of land. Start building. Especially for you people on the West Coast that are going to end up in the ocean at some point. Start building.
I was just cracking up every.
My buddy moved to Boise, right from San Diego, and it's like, bro, you're gonna have a beach house in about 4 years. Any day you could have a beach house.
That's great. I was just cracking up, going out and coming back when you went through St. Louis, and you're like, screw the Cardinals.
Yeah, the Cardinals were cool on the way out. Listen, the Cardinals were great on the way out. There was no screwing. They were nowhere around to be found, right? And as the trip begins and I pass through Missouri, they all of a sudden want to get hot and want to become the hottest team in goddamn baseball. So on the way back, it's screw the Cardinals. On the way out, oh, St. Louis, the stupid arch, you know what I mean? All the great things. And on the way back, on the way there, it's delicious, it's beautiful, it's roses. On the way home, it's screw 'em. But no, it was a fun trip. It was something that, probably never be able to do again. So it was good to be able to get out there, do it.
That's awesome.
See the world. See the road, Danny. I'm a road dog. I wish Tite would have been allowed to come with us. Nobody wanted to come with us. I said, he's my road dog. Let him see the world. Unbelievable. You keep him locked in a goddamn house. Let him see the world. So, all right. That was a fun open, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, back to our poll. And like I said, we're going to talk Phillies live reaction, Odubel Herrera, Sixers GM search, and if we have time, coolest uniforms in sports, as well as everything the fam wants to talk about as well. So to our poll.
And I'm sure the fam will come in hot. So
Well, they already are. I mean, people are flying in. John Malmos, Sixers, crying emojis. I said, I don't know why we're crying because I think the Sixers are in great shape. I know Danny does too and Mike. So Frank Vasby chiming in. We'll get to all the comments, questions in a minute. But to our poll, which Eagles veteran is most likely to be cut this season? Chance Warmack, Kamar Aiken, Matt Jones, Steven Memes. Let us know. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You know where to goddamn find us at this
Danny,
point.
you want to kick us off?
I'm going Marcus Wheaton. He's not even named, but where the hell has he been? And Shelton Gibson just stole his job. So
I got no issue with that answer at all. He's I think Marcus Wheaton is one of the guys that would appear on my 5 up, 5 down. So it's a great answer. For me, I'm going Chance Warmack. I mean, this was a guy when they first signed him. We were actually on him probably the week before they signed him. And they signed him, brought him in, playing for his old offensive line coach at Alabama. We're thinking that this guy's going to have like a career renaissance, and he didn't do shit last year, and he's probably on his way out this year. I think they have some kids on the offensive line that they like a lot better than him. It'll probably be a lot cheaper than him. So, Chance Warmack, see you later time.
Sweeps ain't happy. He says, let's go, Cards. Fuck you, Tommy. So, you think Chance? I wasn't thinking him just because of offensive lineman. And, how bad you need him, how bad you need to be deeper there, even though, I could see him being cut. I was thinking more Matt Jones, honestly. I don't think Matt Jones makes this team. I mean, he could. You're deep at running back. That's the problem. You know what I mean? And to me, I think Smallwood ends up being your fourth, so I just don't see how he makes it. Right. And so to me, that's the guy I see going, just because running backs are out there. They're easier to get. They're easier to find. And I just think that's an easier blow or a guy that just – there's too many guys. Right.
And it's a shame that we even have to put Steven Means on this list because,
I like him.
We've seen him. And I agree, Danny. I mean, I like him. The guy's got a motor. But I think at this point with him, it's just a numbers game. And honestly, the best thing that they could do right now is they could try to trade him to a team that needs defensive end depth and get something back for him because I think around the league, people know that he could play. And if he's not going to make this team, he's an asset right now. So see what you can do.
Yeah, he is. He is. And to me, it's like I said, Chance Warmack. It's a tough cut just because you're not deep. You're not deep in offensive line. You really aren't as deep as you think you are. And if a guy goes down, you would like to have a guy in there who at least took snaps before. Yeah. It'd be helpful and has some bit of chemistry with the guys around them than having to go out and find a guard off the street if something does go down.
Well, my theory on Chance Warmack is, believe it or not, I think that they're afraid to leave Jordan Mailata exposed to waivers if they cut him because, this is a guy who never played a down of football in his life before he got drafted. And he came in and he was supposed to be a quote-unquote project. But the guys looked nothing but solid in the preseason. And I think he's a lot further along than they thought he would be. And I think a lot of that has to do with him working with Jason Peters, with Lane Johnson, with guys on the defensive side of the ball. He said that Michael Bennett and Fletcher Cox have taught him so much in such a short period of time.
Trey Thomas has been working with him too.
Yeah, there you go. I actually think this kid is going to make the team, probably wind up as a game day inactive for most of the season, but I think he makes the final 53 just so they don't have to expose him to waivers before they could add him to the practice squad.
I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, and that, to me, that means Chance goes bye-bye.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I don't care who goes bye-bye on this list, honestly. You know what I mean? If you think about it, it's nobody big enough, or like it was in years past where it was like, some names that you really thought could contribute. On this list, to me, it's not any names that can contribute because you really are deep already. That's the problem all around. You really are deep already.
Well, it's a great feeling when you're the defending Super Bowl champion and you're going to camp and there's maybe 6 jobs out of 53 roster spots that are actually available.
Yeah, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you want, because now we talk about creating competition for a while now. And last year really showed it. You create so much competition on your roster that it made guys that are backups better. And you saw it. That's why you went and won a Super Bowl. It's real simple. Because now, you're building off of that. You're still really deep. You had a good draft again, which made you even deeper offensively, because now you have 2 tight ends, and now you become a big-time problem and matchup nightmares for teams. You get Darren Sproles back. I mean, a team that won the Super Bowl got better.
Right.
And, can Coward or other guys can talk about that they talk too much, they do this, they do that too much. Who gives a shit? When you won the whole thing and you hoisted the party, talk as much as you want to talk. And for us fans, and people say, oh, you know what, we should take it with some class and not do this, not do that. No, we should do everything.
Talk until someone shuts you up.
Exactly. And as fans, we never experienced it before, so why should we not keep talking about it? Why should we not keep rubbing it in people's faces? Because for years, at least my 35 years on this goddamn planet, it's been rubbed in my face every day that we didn't win one. And we got one, so why can't we rub it back in? I don't understand why that's such a problem with people.
Well, people say, come talk to us when the Eagles win a Super Bowl. Well, guess what? The Eagles won a Super Bowl, so I'm talking to you.
And we're talking. Here we are.
So, boys, I took a shot at my quintessential prognostication of the final 53. And I think what I'd like to do is run this by you guys and see if you guys have any objections, thoughts, counterpoints to any of these guys, and we'll take it from there. You guys good with that?
Let's do it.
All right. So, Ryan, chime in. Feel free to chime in on this if you want as well. Quarterback, it's a done deal. It's Wentz, Foles, Sudfeld. I think they do like Joe Callahan enough to keep him on the practice squad.
Not Hack.
It's kind of a we'll see. Honestly, you know what though? It may be a situation where they try to move Callahan for a draft pick and keep Hackenberg on the practice squad.
I was going to say, or do they duel it out in the 4th preseason game?
It's entirely possible.
Must-watch TV.
Yeah, well, there you go. But, we know, Doug being from the Andy tree, Andy always likes to have a quarterback on the practice squad, and I think Doug will too. Last year, Sudfeld was on the practice squad until they got to a point where they realized they needed to move him to the active roster. Mm-hmm. So, 3 quarterbacks. Running back, I have them keeping 4. Ajayi, Clement, and Sproles are the givens. The 4th that I have is Smallwood, and I think it's a situation where Smallwood is the best of bad, so to speak. I don't think any one of these guys, whether it's Smallwood, Pumphrey, Matt Jones, Josh Adams, is really, head and shoulders above the rest. I actually do have them trying to keep Josh Adams on the practice squad. I will also throw a big fat asterisk on Smallwood and say that if a running back on another team gets cut and the Eagles like him enough to sign him, Smallwood would be the one to go.
Listen, after the first 2 and Sproles,
doesn't matter.
I don't give a rat's ass who makes it. To me, it's not Matt Jones. It's not Daniel Pumphrey, even though people wanted to get on their knees and literally break knee bones blowing his ass. And it's going to be one of the small ones. And to be honest with you, the fact that we're even talking about 4th running backs again goes to show you how deep we are. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we're even having conversations on who the 4th back's going to be, We're used to worry about who's 1 and 2. We know who them guys are, and now we know who 3 is. Because we got a major boost as our 3rd down back and another back with Sproles. It's huge to have. Yeah. We're so lethal. It's disgusting. So, jumping up to wide receiver, this is where it gets a little interesting because if Alshon Jeffrey starts the season on the PUP list, he's not available until week 6 at the earliest. So, I don't think they're going to do that. I think he actually starts the season on the roster. But as such, I think they got to keep 6 receivers. Mm-hmm. So, I have them keeping Jeffrey, Mike Wallace, Aguilar, Mac Hollins, Shelton Gibson, who has played his ass off in the preseason. And I think he's one of the ones that we could see on the 5 up, 5 down. And the 6th receiver that I have them keeping might be a bit of a surprise, but it's Greg Ward. It's a guy who was a quarterback in college, was on their practice squad last year as a wide receiver. He's gotten time with the ones this year in the preseason, and he's done a real nice job. I think they like him a lot as a guy that they could put in the slot if Aguilar's not healthy. Well, Houston guy.
Yeah, plays special teams. Does a little bit of everything. And, the guy you had mentioned earlier, Marcus Wheaton, I think Marcus Wheaton's gone. I think Kamar Aiken's gone. I think Bryce Treggs is gone.
Yeah, well, Bryce Treggs should have been gone the first time.
Well, I think Treggs could be a practice squad candidate, although I think the wide receiver that they're going to keep on the practice squad, if they do, is the Rashard Davis.
I feel like he spent his life on a practice squad, Bryce Treggs, until he went to Cleveland.
Yeah, you're right.
Now that I think about it, he probably wouldn't, but they were kind of – I was reading a little bit about Rashard Davis even making the 53-man roster just because they really like him in the return game.
And it's possible. It's entirely possible. I know the one thing that I've been hearing a lot about is with these new rules on the kickoff, that kickoff returns are going to look more like punt returns. And as such, they may have Sproles doing a lot of kickoff returns, which is something we haven't seen him do yet as an Eagle. He did it a lot in New Orleans, but he hasn't done kickoffs since he's been here. It's been primarily punt returns.
Well, listen, it's his last year. I mean,
run the tires off of him.
Run them off. I mean, nobody's worried about it.
He should be fresh. I mean, he only played, 2.5 games last year?
There you go.
Let's get to some of the comments.
Go right ahead,
on Facebook. Jal Malmo says Warmack sucks. I don't think any of us disagree with it. Clay Ferguson sweeping Pittsburgh, talking about the Braves, rubbing it in. We're up 7-5, though, right now.
Chop on, Clay. We'll see you in September.
Ralphie D says he wish I stayed in San Diego. Go fuck yourself, Ralph. Greg not with us tonight. What's up, fellas?
What's up, Greg?
Miss you all. Matt Jones for me had a big opportunity to really solidify himself. Didn't get it done. Clay Ferguson, did you ever get that bet money? Yes, I did.
Attaboy.
Yes, I did. Jeremy Beal, welcome home. Thanks, brother. John Malmos. Phillies have 7 tonight so far. They will not score for a week. It's true. It's true.
Scherzer's going to shut him out tomorrow.
He also said you should check that Colorado. Great state. Yeah, I wish we could have. Really wish we could have. That would have been nice. Zachary Coyle, Matt Jones is a waste, more of a body for camp. I don't think anybody disagrees with it. And he said thoughts on the Notre Dame back. I know you guys talked about it a little bit.
I think if he could stay healthy, I mean, he's a big guy. He's got good size, good speed. He just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, we're back to the fourth back. You know what I mean? I get speechless over it because it's no-name guys, really. It's a name because we know him and he's played in the league, but they're no-name guys.
And he's a local kid, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people that, want him to stick because of the local bias. Ryan, what do you got?
So I have Sweeps chiming in from the text line, from the cloud. He's texting me privately because he's afraid, Tom, you're not going to read his text. So it's something you guys got to work out, I guess. But he says, what is your guys' take on the Michael Kendricks comments? Is he trying to breathe life into a horrible organization? Is he taking a shot at the birds? Or is he just effing delusional? Or all of the above?
All the above.
So let me answer Sweeps' question with a question. Which team is on Hard Knocks this year? There you go. I think for him, it's camera time, it's controversy, it's I came from the Super Bowl champions and my voice needs to be heard, and maybe he is trying to light a fire under the Browns.
Well, I mean, what are you going to say? That's my whole thing from the jump. What's he going to say if posed the question? I didn't hear the question, but, posed the question, what's he going to say? Oh, no, we were better than Philly.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. I also have 2 tweet chains that he put out this afternoon. Kendricks actually commented on it, so if you want, I can read it. It's a paragraph, but he says, Philly was the best team last year, not because of having the best talent, but because we were the best overall unit in football. How else would a team beat the Patriots? Here at the Browns, we have the capabilities to be an even better team because of the natural raw talent here. Maybe, just maybe, HBO's Hard Knocks will show the rest of the speech I was giving to the team. By showing the full message, perhaps it would give more clarity to my opinions. Placing the entire message I was trying to give in full context will show why, quote, it's not funny. So he went on a bit of a rant.
I still don't know. Is he talking about just the linebacker group or the whole team?
I think he's talking about the whole team.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the whole team.
But I think he kind of identified it there, that it was, Hard Knocks taking a snippet of something and, dramatizing it, or whatever the word I'm looking for is there, but over-dramatizing, whatever you want to say. But do I think he's taking shots at Philly? No, absolutely not. I think that's all just internal stuff to Cleveland.
Listen, I mean, they should be. I mean, let me be real with the people. They should be. They should have more talent overall.
They still got a shitty coach.
I mean, think about it. Think about all the high picks, all the picks on that football team. They should have a ton of talent, right? I mean, I don't think anybody can run from that. They stink. they've stunk. Then they'll be better this year because it's not hard to get better from 0 wins.
Did we just
or one win?
Did we just go with Dr. Seuss riddle?
But though, I mean, though, to me, they can
Stunk.
win 10 games. You know, they have they have firepower offensively. They've been close. Listen, you go back and watch their games last year. They're in every football game, and they had no quarterback and nobody. And this year, they're actually better. Right, and Tyrod Taylor stinks, but my dog's going to get a chance to go. And when he goes, that offense is good. You know, you talk about you're one of the best receivers in the game. You've just never been on the field. That matters, right? You go get Jarvis Landry. Okay, he's not a 1 to me, but to go along with Josh Gordon, he's absolutely becomes a big-time threat. You have a defense that's got a ton of young talent. Now, are they better than the Eagles? Absolutely not. But do they have a ton of talent? And what's the guy going to say when he's giving his team a speech? Is he going to say, man, we're not even close to them? You know what I mean? You got to look at it like that. I'm not saying it's not delusional, but in sports and in your locker rooms, you're always delusional. You're not going to go out on a Sunday expecting to get your ass kicked. You know what I mean? It's just not the way you can go about it.
Well, what did Doug say last year when he was talking about the Eagles? He said they had more talent than the Green Bay Packers that won the Super Bowl. Everybody says shit like that.
Yeah, and I got crushed for saying that I like him saying that. I remember it. I remember people not liking me saying, like, well, what is he going to say? Like, you want to build confidence around your team. You know, unlike the moron that tries to give confidence in the Phillies clubhouse. You know, you're talking about guys who are just trying to bring confidence to their football team or teams, period. Because it's a big part of playing well is being confident about it, too. Getting back to the comments, Mike Parks says he's listening to the Phillies on my phone, and he said he'll be with us in a few. Quinky, welcome back, Tom. Miss seeing you. Thanks, brother. Clay Ferguson said the Jets are sniffing for ends, talking about memes earlier. Where were we at? Clay says Cowboys flaunt rusted trophies, you know, about us talking shit and soaking it in. He's right. Jeremy Buin, I agree. I don't know what he's saying. I'll have to look at that one in a few.
Shocker.
Deion Brown, what's up, fellas? Oh, man, it's great to see y'all.
Deion, what are we drinking tonight?
Especially talking Eagles football. Let's talk about it. And he says Brodo on the 1s and 2s. That is confirmed.
Hello, Deion. How are we?
Hello.
Hello.
Jake Friel. What's up, Jake? He said
What's up,
after
Jake?
tomorrow. I don't know why I made that an angry emoji because I'm trying to read it because I don't understand why Facebook does it.
You're just angry at Facebook.
Yeah, I am. After tomorrow, Josh Adams will probably be the 4th running back, or they'll stuff him on IR like they did Pumphrey. He said Adams is very talented and was a Heisman candidate for a reason. I see the Eagles giving J.I. the DeMarco Murray treatment and let him in free agency. The following year, it will be Adams and Clement as a running back rotation for years to come. Thoughts?
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I don't have no issue with that one.
I think that's putting a lot of eggs in the Adams basket when you don't know if he can stay healthy. I think in theory, it sounds great, and I don't hate it, but I need to see that kid stay healthy before I'm ready to give him the rock.
Could always draft another back, too.
50-60% of the time. Yeah, and you could. You very easily could.
And let's be honest, for the most part, in my opinion, backs really do semi-grow on trees.
Yeah.
In a way. You know what I mean by that? Like not your specials, not your top 3 to 5 in the league, right? And they don't grow on trees, but you know the rest of them to me, a lot of them grow on trees. You can just go pluck. You know what I mean? You can pluck.
Oh,
them. They're not as hard to find.
Yeah, you look at. I mean, and I hate to make this reference, but I will. You look at fantasy football. Fantasy football, just about every league, you have your top 6 or 7 picks are running backs. And then all of a sudden, you don't see a running back picked again until the end of the 3rd round. Yeah. Because all of a sudden it goes, to all the big-time wide receivers and tight ends, especially in a PPR format. So it's, to your point, you get those top 6, 7, even maybe 8 running backs, the guys that are special. Or the guys that are, like your Le'Veon Bells, David Johnsons, that are dual-threat guys that, are just going to get 30 to 35 touches a game between carries and the passing game. But after that, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of running backs in the NFL now that are just plug and play. And I think we saw some of that here last year
we absolutely
with the fact that, last year you had Blunt, Sproles, Clement, Ajayi. I mean, it was, here's the playbook, guys, go ahead, plug and play.
And what you saw throughout the postseason was fresh running backs.
Yeah.
Where a lot of guys at that point of the year, have so many touches and so much wear and tear that they're just tired by that point of the year. And for us to be able to have that many running backs and be able to use them and and give guys a breather here and there and go with the hot hand at times, I think really helped us offensively moving throughout the playoffs with Nick Foles as quarterback, unlike Carson. You know, with Carson, you know, you could throw me and us three and Ryan back there. You know, to me, and we can make a play or two because he's that special. But once you bring in a backup,
I might have to
now
do short yardage back.
You're right. You bring in a backup, and now
I'm not a burner.
And now teams play more, you know, more guys in the box. Makes sense? Because now they're going to try to stop the run.
And that was always the thing with Blunt throughout his career. His yards per carry would always decline in November, December. But last year you saw in the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, he looked fresh. He was running all over the place.
Well, it's funny because I went back last night and I was looking at some of the show criteria forms that we did around this time last year as we were going through training camp. And one of the Twitter poll questions that we had last year around this time was, has LeGarrette Blount's lackluster performance in the preseason put his job in jeopardy? And, you know, next thing you know, the guy is like trucking guys on his way into the end zone in the playoffs and the Super Bowl.
Well,
so,
you know, and I was going to say this earlier on when we were talking Eagles, and I don't want to put a damper on talking Eagles ever because it's Eagles, and I love talking Eagles. But at this point in the year, I don't give a rat's ass. I don't care about preseason football. You ain't going to fool me one way or the other. I care about major injuries. That's what I care about. Week 1, I'm ready to go. It's meaningless. I've been fooled by it. I was running the Broad Street when we were 4-0 with Sam Bradford, okay? So I'm not going to be fooled by one way or the other in preseason. I'm not going to panic because Nick Foles looked bad. I'm not going to panic because a fifth-string running or jump off my couch freaking out because a fifth-string running back took 170 to the house.
Boy,
and now we have Barry Sanders as our fifth back.
A Lombardi,
you know what I mean?
a Lombardi trophy calmed you down a lot.
Not at all, because week one, I'm throwing shit if we're not winning, and I'm yelling and screaming. Oh, it's done.
Yeah, but you were watching the All-22 last preseason.
Yeah, and you know what? It doesn't do it for me anymore. Maybe because there isn't 11's not out there, and not that matters, but maybe because I knew like
that absolutely matters.
Both quarterbacks are barely playing, so it's like, well, I don't need to watch Nate Sudfeld.
Right.
Like I usually watch to see if my quarterback's sharp or not. You know, that's what I look for, and to be honest with you, I know 11's going to be sharp when that time does come, and I know Nick can be sharp enough.
Well, I mean, to me, and I agree with you, could it be a level of, now that obviously we won the Super Bowl, we know this roster is very good. In past preseasons, there's a lot more question marks to where we know, like, we don't have to worry about Shelton Gibson or Bryce Draggs. Like, oh, my God, he caught a 55-yarder.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't matter because there's no way he's going to be 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, but here comes Calvin Johnson.
I agree with you. My biggest thing, and the only time I get off my couch screaming, is when I see Jay Ajayi on the field. Because I've been saying for weeks, keep him in the cryogenic chamber. I don't want to see him until week 1. Because there's no reason I want to see any of our starters, especially Jay Ajayi, who has the history of, obviously, the knee. I don't want to see him ever. I don't care. He doesn't need prep. He's been in the league for a while. He's not a rookie.
I think it goes for all guys on all teams.
See,
for a lot of them.
I hear what you're saying, and in theory, you're right. I'll tell you, I disagree with you for the sole reason, and this is just my theory on this, is I think your number one running back needs to get 15 carries in the preseason. And if you want to have that all come in the first 2 games, or if you want to have him sit the first game and you give it to him in games 2 and 3, the only reason for that is I want him to get used to running after contact. That's it. And, you know, you give him 12 to 15 carries in the preseason and boom, you're done. That's it.
That's for all of them. Mm-hmm. You know, for any of your starters, it's just a few reps, right? You know, for your secondary, you just want them all on the same page.
Yeah.
So it's a series here, a series there, and we're done. You know what I mean? We've seen enough, and we'll get enough work in practice, and there'll be enough scrimmages in practice where you're having some live enough tempo. Because let's be real, the game's not as fast when your number ones are in the game anyway in preseason. It's not the same speed as a regular season game. Now, for your other guys who are fighting for jobs, yeah, the speed ramps up a little bit, but nobody gives a shit about them guys.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I never watch preseason to watch deep in the games and care about some 6th or 7th wide receiver do something. The only time I would ever stick that far into a game was when 11 was drafted, or you drafted a franchise-type player and you knew he was going to get reps later on. Right? And then I would go and be like, okay, I want to watch this guy. But nobody else.
If anybody has watched the fourth quarter of either of the first two Eagles games and you weren't there in person, just hanging out, chilling, and, like, taking it all in, I want to know why. I really do. Legitimately, I want to know why. Why did you not change the channel after the third quarter?
You're going to hear I'm a junkie. You know what I mean? I just love it.
Football's back, man.
It's football.
Like, no, football isn't
like
just
a
football.
watered-down version of football. It looks,
Go watch the Canadian football league.
That's basically
Go
what
watch
it is.
Manziel. Go watch Manziel.
If not worse.
Fair point.
Because at least they know that these guys.
It's the Canadian Football League, just a little bit south. That's it.
Dion saying, high life on deck, fresh six-pack.
The
Let's
champagne
go.
of beers.
Clay said he wasn't trying to rub it in. Braves Phillies come down the last 2 weeks. Both
No,
teams
you're good, Clay.
have
We knew you weren't
flaws.
trying to rub it
Yeah,
in.
we know. I just said you were rubbing it in. And you can't read people's freaking comments on here.
It's ridiculous.
Facebook is so ridiculous. Here we go. Both teams' flaws that will keep either from running away with it, Kapler and his offensive lineup, or Snichter and his bullpen management. Yep, and you go both ways. You know, and I think unless you're the Red Sox or some teams that are running away with it, I think everybody's going to have them flaws.
Look, they play each other 7 times in September.
But our manager just really there's a big time issue with in-game management that we'll talk about later on in the show. Mark Gordon said I would take 2 really good running backs over 1 great one, give you more versatility.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
That's a couch of agreedness, baby.
Son of a bitch.
No, that was.
Oh, it was last night.
Yeah, don't do that to me.
I did the same thing.
Don't do it. Dion says for us to be so deep, and now we're back to this again. I'm not hating his comment. Here we go.
For anybody, if Tom hates your comment, all he's trying to do is expand the window.
All we're trying to do, expand windows. For us to be so deep at certain positions to where we'll be able to rotate players and keep them non-winded, that's a major plus for this squad. And it helps in November, December, January. Not a lot of teams can say that they have a heavy rotation. We saw it all last year. And we saw it all last year with 6 guys and 5 of them being captains of your football team, not on the football field. And we saw it, firsthand how deep we were and how guys weren't winded. Imagine now. Imagine now. You only got better now. Do I think Jordan Hicks is going to stay on the field for a long time? Probably not. You're going to be lucky if he plays 14. We're going to be extremely lucky if he plays 14. That's why Mr. who wasn't shutting up Michael Kendricks, I think we're going to miss a little bit. I do. I'm not crowning Michael Kendricks. I just think we're going to miss him a tiny bit. Oh, good shoot.
Oh,
good shoot, Roman. Here we go.
You know what's coming after this.
He's got a cannon.
Odubel
He should be playing every night.
He was 6 feet from the infield, too.
I don't know about all that.
12 and a half.
Keep going.
13.
Double it.
Now, this is a shot.
No, it's a good throw. He got the mound. No, he didn't get the mound, Skip. Wow. Hey, slide. Big time. Jake Friel, hot take. Ertz and Dallas will be the best tight end duo since Gronk and Hernandez. Thoughts? Agree.
I don't even think that's a hot take. I think that's legit.
Yeah.
And listen, let me tell you something. It's without the hanging. You know what I mean? It's without the hanging it up. There's going to be no hang up at the end of this story. All right?
No, I don't know.
You
if
guys
you
know he hung it up, right?
What?
Aaron,
Whatever.
You guys are still here? Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you guys remember. Never forget. Never forget. Tough life.
I have a really hot take. This one is a little hot. I was going to say 20 years from now, you're going to look back at this 2018 roster and be like, wow, the 2 greatest tight ends in Eagles history were teammates. That's what I'm saying, dude. I think God is the real freaking deal. I think when it's all said and done, they'll probably be the top 2 leading receivers in terms of tight ends.
I think he could be better than Ertz.
I have no argument with that. I mean, are we crowning him a little soon? Yeah, probably. But I think the kid's, based on everything I've seen, I wouldn't put it past him.
I would say this. I'll call this my not hot take. I believe
Your lukewarm take?
Yes, my lukewarm take. I believe I'll call it my room temperature take. I believe that this offense will be absolutely the number 1 red zone offense in the league. And I say that based on, because a lot of people were panicking because we lost LeGarrette Blount, and I keep having to tell people, okay, we lost LeGarrette Blount, who is a great red zone back. And sure, we didn't gain a great red zone back, but we gained an unbelievable red zone weapon in Dallas Goedert. Mm-hmm. He's labeled as unguardable in the red zone. That's already. Yeah. He's going to get better from here.
Yeah.
So that's my room temperature take.
So there's going to be a lot of fades in the red zone.
And what did he do in practice that one day? He scored 4 touchdowns. in the red zone. They were doing the red zone drills.
They were doing
and he scored 4 touchdowns.
Four touchdowns on 4 consecutive plays.
On this defense. Yeah. So it's like
he jumped over the corner on 4 consecutive plays.
Oh. Yeah.
And then they just stopped running it because they couldn't stop him.
You already were a problem in the red zone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, we already were the best team in football in the red zone, and we got better. It's just amazing. You know, and listen, a lot of it comes down to when Carson's going to play too. You know, I have confidence in Nick, but not like I do 11. And, you know, we'll see. We'll find out soon.
Yeah, and honestly,
when that is. And
I hear what you're saying. I don't think there's going to be that much of a drop-off in the red zone from Blunt to Ajayi. No. I think if Ajayi is fresh and doesn't have to, carry the load all the way up the field, I think he's fine in the red zone.
I think Corey's good in the red zone, too, to be completely honest. And he's a dual threat because he can run it and he can also catch it.
Darren's good in the red zone, too.
That's a good point. I forgot.
Sometimes the smaller backs, the little backs are, can get that yard or two in the red zone.
Yeah.
Not that the big backs can't, but sometimes, you could bring him in and, you go in a shotgun-type formation.
Yeah, and let's give a little credit to the head coach, too. I mean, he's a guy who has some creativity with his play calling, and it's not, I'm just going to pound this up the middle 3 times and hope I score.
Yeah.
True.
Like a lot of them do. Ralphie D, Phillies have the lead. Let's see how fast they can blow it.
Shut up, Ralph.
Shut up.
Clay says the Jags copied that D-line rotation as well. And most smart teams are. You've seen Tampa Bay try to, bite off our tree and come pull 2 guys down there to try to, get deeper on their line and their rotation. A lot of teams are trying to do it. And, I thought New England done it well for years. I really do. I thought New England's had a great rotation of ends, in their 3-4 that can go get you a little bit, which is why they,
Let's finish blowing through the offense real quick, and then we'll get back to the fam, all right?
Yep.
Because I think the offense from here on out is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, 3 tight ends, Ertz, Goddard, and I think Richard Rodgers makes it as a 3rd tight end as your blocking guy, on the line, H-back type. I don't think that's any big surprise there. They went out and spent money on them. Offensive line. Obviously, you have your starters, Peters, Wisniewski, Kelsey, Brooks, Johnson. I have them keeping 4 reserves. I think you got Vaitai, who could play either tackle. You got Samalo, who could play either guard or center. You got Matt Pryor's, the 6th-round pick that they absolutely love, and they're raving about him, plays either guard position. And then the guy that we talked about earlier, the Jordan Mailata from Australia, the rugby player, I think he makes the final 53 so that they don't have to expose him on waivers. Could they go a 10th? I imagine they could. I think they actually keep 2 on the practice squad. I think they keep Ian Park and Darrell Evans on the practice squad so that they're not burning roster spots on an offensive lineman. But, we'll see how that goes. Defensively, if you want to jump over to the defense, I had them initially keeping 8 with the caveat that Timmy Jernigan's going to come back at some point once he's healthy. So I have them keeping the starters, Barnett, Cox, Haloti Ngata, and Brandon Graham. And then your backup 4 would be Bennett, Chris Long, Destiny Vio, and Josh Sweat. I think Long and Sweat are, your pure defensive ends. Vio's your tackle, and Bennett would be like a swingman. Could go either way.
Yep.
No issue here.
Cool. All right, so moving on. Linebackers. This is a little bit interesting because Nigel Bradham is on the reserve suspended list. So he doesn't actually count against the initial 53. So the common sense guys, Nate Gary, Jordan Hicks, Joe Walker, Kame Grugier-Hill, and Corey Nelson. Corey Nelson, I think, could be up for some debate, but I think he was a free agent signee. He's a big-time special teams player, so I think the kid makes the team. The 6th linebacker that I have making the team is Leroy Reynolds. And I think for no other reason than they need a guy that can play special teams on opening night. Somebody's going to have to go once Nigel comes off the suspension. I think Reynolds makes the opening 53, plays the first game, and then gets released. If he clears waivers, he goes right to the practice squad. Corners. I have them keeping 6, and that might be a little steep, but you have the obvious Mills, Darby, Jones, but then I have them keeping Avonte Maddox, Bosby, and Russell Douglas. I think Russell Douglas could be a guy on the bubble. I don't know.
Really?
I thought he looked pretty bad against the Steelers, but then looked a little better against the Patriots. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. Safety, Jenkins, McLeod are the givens. Maragos is your special teams captain. Corey Graham, and then the fifth safety that I have them keeping is Trey Sullivan. It's a guy by all reports has looked great in camp, and could actually, if they do wind up going to 4 safeties, could actually wind up making the team over Maragos. I think they would probably drop one of the corners before they would drop Maragos, but
what's the deal with Maragos? How is he not recover? I mean, Jordan Hicks tears his Achilles in week 7, and that's a worse injury than an ACL. He tore his against the Chargers. Like, what's the deal with him?
Everybody's different. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what happens, but I mean, everybody's different with the way they heal and the way they come off the injuries. I don't know. I mean, I could actually see them releasing Maragos with an injury settlement and then telling him stay in touch, and when you're healthy, we'll bring you back. And then the final 3 I have are obviously it's, the long snapper, Rick Lovato, Jake Elliott, and then the punter, Cameron Johnston, who, by everything that I've read and seen, has been wildly inconsistent during the preseason, and I frankly would love to see them cut him and bring in a veteran punter that is just going to get the job done with some level of consistency. I mean, I don't care if the guy averages 53 a punt if he's going, 65-65 shank. I'd rather a guy average 45 a punt by going 45, 45, 45. And, that's it for the 53. But, again, potential practice squad guys, either Callahan or Hackenberg, obviously Josh Adams, your guy Rashard Davis, which I think would be real interesting to see what they do with him. I wonder if they expose him to waivers, if he gets picked up somewhere. The 2 offensive linemen, Evans and Park. On the defensive line, a couple of guys that they really like. A tackle, Bruce Hector, and an end, Joe Ostman. And in a corner, DJ Killings, and a safety, Jeremy Reeves. All guys that you may hear about again as potential practice squad candidates. But, going back to the point you made a few minutes ago, when you're the defending Super Bowl champions, how many spots do you really have? I mean, we're talking about doing 5 up, 5 down.
Yeah.
It may just be 6 total, and you have 4 up and 2 down, or 3 up and 3 down. Who knows?
And it's hard.
It is hard.
Right now I'm watching the Phillies.
Yeah.
It's hard. We're Super Bowl champs. I'm relaxed. I'm intent on this freaking team right now. I'm locked in on them.
You are pretty chill.
Well, until we get to the Phillies. I mean, that's going to change quickly. But for the Eagles, yeah. I mean, what am I not chilled about? We're defending champs. There's only one person who would fire me up about anything Eagles related, and that's not an issue right this second. So I'm pretty good. Pretty good. There's only one person that would tell me that Foles is better than Wentz, and then I would lose my shit. But and that's not happening right now.
That whole narrative's just got to stop. I mean, I'm so sick and tired of people saying that even if Wentz is healthy, Foles deserves to start opening night because he won the Super Bowl. Carson Wentz was a goddamn MVP candidate who had them at 13 and 2 or 12 and 2, whatever the hell it was, when he got hurt. And you want to go crown Nick Foles and let him start opening night because he won the Super Bowl?
Hold on, guys, I'm sorry, you're spot on. How's he not bunt him there? Why is Hernandez not bunting to begin with? With first and second, nobody out when a guy can flat out lay it down.
Yeah.
No idea.
Why not?
Because he dingered in his last at-bat?
Oh, my God, this crumb.
It's not Big Al.
This crumb. It's not Big Al.
It's not Big Al.
It's Little Caesar. Salad.
I love it. Not Big Al, it's Little Caesar.
With a side.
That's a win.
I'm waiting for Hoskins to hit a 3-run homer.
Manages like it's in the American League. It's unbelievable.
He does. He really does. Where was that? Ralphie D said he'll trade Darby for a pick. We'll trade Darby and a pick for Khalil Mack. And I said, that's not going to get it done.
I'm good.
It's not going to. It wouldn't get it done anyway.
That's playing Madden, Ralph.
Yeah.
That's playing. You're talking an hour ago about everyone's playing Madden. That's playing freaking Madden. Go back to your Madden.
Go back to Madden, Ralph.
That's fantasy football ADP.
Yeah, that you refuse to get in, by the way, Ralphie.
Sean
Or,
Spielman.
I'm sorry, IDP.
Sean Spielman said, "What's up, fam? On
What's up,
vacay."
Sean?
He said, "Still tuned in, ladies. Aren't I watching the Phillies game in 10 like me?" Yeah, I was locked in for a minute.
Hey, Sean, how was that pizza today, buddy? He hit a little manco and manco on the boards in Ocean City.
It's always delicious.
Good work by him.
Dion says, "I like Reynolds." Yeah, I can see that when you're talking about Reynolds earlier. Rob Termini says, "Is Bowman still available?" I would love Navarro.
We've talked about
yeah.
Ira Bowman 3 times in the last 2 months. I mean, if he's out there, I'd go get him. I wouldn't even think twice about it.
Dion talking about a guy you were talking about earlier said, "What about Jordan Mailata?"
I got him on the squad. I think he's been good enough that they don't want to expose him to waivers, and I got to make him the squad. I don't think he dresses, but I think he's there.
Yeah, that's fine. I have no problem there. You know, if he's getting it done, he's getting it done, right? I mean, that's how you got to look at it. If he's getting
And
it
he's
done,
a house.
and, yeah, we know he's a moose knock.
Yeah.
So now if you can actually block something, and you know,
What is he, 6'8"?
You get it. You
He's-
get the things that go with being an offensive lineman. You get all the reads. You can pick up the game that quick. You know, I have no problem
Hey,
with
he's
it.
6'8", 350. And granted, he's been going against 2s and 3s the entire preseason, but he hasn't given up a sack.
It still matters. Yeah, I mean, you never played football. Period. So it definitely matters. You know, if you're getting the job done,
Yeah.
you know, you would know if he was exposed right off the bat from guys who played their whole life.
And when you got guys on your own squad, like Peters, Johnson, Bennett, and Cox, that see enough in this kid that they're willing to stay after practice and work with him on technique,
Yeah.
that's big.
And it goes to the culture of this football team. You know, it goes what was said here when Doug took over and the change of culture mattered. You know, we tell about this ad nauseum. Culture was shoved down our throat from the regime before.
Well,
but there was no culture.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mr. Culture beats scheme, but his culture sucked.
His culture sucked. You know, the only thing good about his culture he brought in was Darren and Malcolm and his
protein
his
shakes.
smoothies. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to
his
say
smoothies.
his fucking
Smoothies.
smoothies.
But he brought in. I mean, he brought in, you know, culture guys. But there was no culture from the top.
Well, he
you know
did.
what I mean?
He
And this
did it-
was a whole change.
He did introduce Nick Foles to the RPO, which did wind up winning us a Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, listen.
Thanks, Chip.
He's a smart offensive guy. I don't think there's any question in that. I really do believe the guy could be a great offensive coordinator in this league. You know,
If he could adjust, though, like I hate getting into old shit, but like 2015 with Murray, like he just wouldn't adjust. Like whatever, I'm not getting into it.
my issues with the at bat. Struble. It's Struble. So freaking great. Come on, dude. You got to get – I mean, you need the vets to get some jobs done in these kind of situations.
Yeah.
You can't have a pop-up to the freaking third baseman.
No.
All right, sorry.
That just puts him in there with everybody else on the squad.
Ralph says, he goes, Ryan is producing. Should have knew. The transition was ass. Hashtag rookie.
Yeah, you know, Ralph, because you're here 10 minutes before the show.
Should have knew. Should have
Should've
knew.
knew, yeah.
Should have knew.
Go back to your Madden.
Michael Jenkinson.
Grammar police.
Michael Jenkinson to our poll question saying Warmack.
Yep. See ya.
Rob is arguing with Sean Spielman. Let them argue. Jake Friel. Foles won us our first Super Bowl. What did Wentz do? Casual Eagles fans. Yep.
Yep.
The casuals. And you gotta love the casuals. But listen, real quick, I know we're not there yet, and we'll do this as it moves forward and we get closer. But right now, no looking at schedules, no getting cute like that. How many wins is this football
12
team?
and 4.
I like that, Danny. Quick trigger. No
11 and 5.
hesitation.
11-5.
I thought you said 12 and 5. I said, how the hell?
No.
11-5.
11 and 5. I'm 12 and 4.
We're all in the same area. Code.
Yeah, let's go. You know, I know people are like, oh, well, you have the first pay schedule now. You have the hardest schedule. You don't know how this league works. You don't know who's going to get banged up on teams you play.
Everybody
You don't
said
know.
the same thing last year. Oh, they'll be lucky to finish 8-8. Look at that schedule.
Yep, everybody's
Okay.
a schedule breaker downer. You know what I mean? They just look at the schedule and it's like, I never look at schedules. We talked about that last year. I don't look at schedules when I give a prediction because I don't care who's on the schedule. I care about how good is the football team or how good do I believe in them. You know, and this year, no different than last year.
Right.
You know, we believe that it's a good football team and an even better one now.
And I had a debate with my barber. He thinks we're going to go 9-7, partially because the Super Bowl hangover and the schedule. But it's like what, suddenly over one offseason we're not a top 3, top 4 roster in the league anymore? Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, we're a good enough team to win those tough games. Like, I don't care about the schedule. Exactly what he's saying.
I would tell people, anybody that wants to complain about the schedule, you go back and you look at last year when everybody talked about how hard the Eagles' schedule was. You go back and you look at the game results from week 6 through the end of the season. You look at the average margin of victory. This wasn't a team that was beating people. This was a team that was blowing teams out. I mean, boat racing teams. And that was with the, their schedule's so hard.
Oh, and well, listen, remember the fan base when we were just winning games and winning tight games, it wasn't good enough. Nobody ever buys into going to locker rooms with wins and how much that does. Just winning football games. It's a hard league, man. The guys talk about it. It's a tough league. It's tough to get wins in this league. And I'm a big believer. I don't care how we're winning, if we're winning by blowing teams out, if we're winning ugly, it doesn't matter. What all that matters is what the tally is. Is the tally a dub? Then let's go on to the next week and clean some things up.
Yeah, I agree. And, Mike, you and I kind of talked about this a few weeks ago. For the last 3 months or so, I've been sitting back and trying to convince myself, trying to find ways and reasons why the Eagles can't have a successful season or go back to the Super Bowl or win it. And then after a while, I'm thinking to myself, why am I doing this? Yeah. What? Just because this Philly mindset the last 57 years, because, nothing's ever happened to us that's on the positive grand scheme of things, so it's never going to happen ever again. Stop. The whole motto for a team that wins the Super Bowl is you get lucky breaks, everything goes your way, and then the mindset changes. That doesn't fall under the category of this team because we didn't get any lucky breaks. We didn't get at all as far as the health grand scheme of things because we lost all of our guys for the most part. And the team's better. How many times can you say about a Super Bowl roster that they got better, hands down? So I'm sick and tired of everybody like, the Super Bowl hangover. Listen, you could pick whoever you want to go far. That's fine. Everyone can have an opinion. But to sit back and just say, it's going to be hard, therefore it can't happen. Stop. Well, it's hard every year.
So what about all the other teams? It's not hard for them?
Exactly.
It's an easy road for them?
Go ahead, Danny.
I would buy into the Super Bowl hangover a little bit if Wentz won us the Super Bowl. But 11's here. Like, it's his time. Like, I don't care how much he says, I love Nick Foles. I'm so happy for him. That fucking killed him, seeing Foles get us the first one. It did. I don't care what anyone says. Inside, he was like, fuck, I wanted to get the first championship. Like, I don't care what 11 is under center.
Daddy's coming in hot.
There he is.
I love it.
By the way, the Phillies are going to lose this game. I just want to throw it out there to the people. Yeah, you have opportunities with bases loaded. You know how this freaking league works. They're going to give up a run. They'll give up a run next inning.
So, understanding that repeating as the Super Bowl champions is one of the hardest things to do in sports, and fine, I get that. But to your point, Ryan, when you've improved your roster from a team that won the Super Bowl, and then, Danny, to your point, where your starting quarterback, your MVP caliber quarterback, didn't even play in the Super Bowl, is coming back. Jason Peters didn't play in the Super Bowl, is coming back. Jordan Hicks didn't play in the Super Bowl, is coming back. Darren Sproles didn't play in the Super Bowl, is coming back. And he's going out this year.
Right.
You think that guy doesn't want to go to a Super Bowl? I mean, come on.
And I think if we do this,
it's like they signed four or five high-end free agents. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But listen, it's over. Okay, everything, all the stigmas and and all the negativity and the losses and the ugliness of the '80s, the ugliness of the mid '90s on, like, all that ugliness is gone, and that's what people need to realize. It's over. The curse is broken. It's the same that happened to the Red Sox. When it ends, it ends, and you move on. And now you're a fucking winner. And now as an organization, you're looked at as a winner. This is the whole thing. Now people want to come to you. As soon as the Red Sox and that curse was over, people wanted to go to Boston. Players in Major League Baseball weren't scared to go to Boston anymore. It's the same thing here, where now guys actually want to come to you. It started last year, and where Alshon comes here, right? Alshon comes here. Why? Because of Carson, right? He wanted to play with Carson. And you started building. That's before you were even winning. Now Michael Bennett, right? Granted, we traded for him. But other guys are excited to come here.
I saw it. I saw it.
He just actually made an in-game decision. It made sense.
What do you do?
Put Reese at first.
He moved Roman Quinn from center to left, put Odubel in the game in center, and moved Hoskins from left field to first base.
Only took him to what? August 22nd.
Gabe just took his head out of his ass. So did they move Cabrera to third base and put Kingery in at short? Is he holding on for dear life here?
Well, he better be. I mean, this is their season in 3 outs. You know, really, our season is.
Wow, that's pretty extreme.
It's big. It's big. The other team keeps winning.
Of course,
you can't. Listen, I'm not saying, it all comes down to the last 7. If you don't win your fucking games before the last 7, it don't come down to the last 7. You can't go on losing streaks right now.
Wait, hold on. Thank you. Because all these people that were telling me that I was way overreacting for this guy pulling pitchers out of the game after 6 innings in August, I said, no, fuck that. You say bullets in April, May, and June.
Yeah.
You don't say bullets in July, August, and September.
No, you got to pull guys.
They took Noah out of the game 6 innings and 95 pitches, and I questioned why, and people were like, well, you got to save his bullets. No, you don't. You go win a game. You don't save bullets.
No, not this time of year.
Not this time of year.
No, you save him early on when he wasn't saved, or whenever he was doing. You know, early on in the year, we had no idea what he was doing.
I say game 1 and game 162 count differently in the standings. Really? It's news to me.
Nope. But to me, you just can't go on a big losing streak here. You can't. You gotta at least play 500 baseball till you get to that point, especially if the Braves are winning. Now,
wait, did he just throw 101 to Harper?
Yeah, I saw that too.
This will be interesting.
You know, whatever. You can't just
back-to-back triple digits.
Triple digits. And
I know Sean loves Gabe.
Through it.
Sean loves Gabe. Jake Friel says Eagles versus Texans, Wentz versus Watson is going to be an offensive showcase.
2 days before Christmas.
I was going to say that's Christmas, right?
Yep, December 23rd.
Nice. Another Christmas gift.
I thought for a second he was going to say that was like his Super Bowl prediction, because I know that's a lot of people's predictions.
Oh, 3 in a row. He fouled off 101.
I know Clay isn't with us anymore, but with us right now in the chat. But you know, he would love this one. But to me, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I don't care who's playing quarterback for them. I just don't.
Nah, they're tough.
I don't. They're coming. They are the best team in the AFC.
Yeah.
Top to bottom, best football team in the AFC.
I said earlier, my bold prediction of the year, and it takes a couple different factors for this to happen. I said there's a good shot, in my opinion, that like come week.
Got a boy.
Shit, Roman.
Oh, there you go. Come week like 5, 6, 7.
That's why you make the change, because Hoskins isn't getting to that baseball. All right, Gabe. Damn it.
Come week 5, 6, or 7, Blake Bortles isn't the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's actually Teddy Bridgewater, because they're
Do you think he's going to get traded to Jacksonville?
They're in talks.
Oh, really?
That's a possibility, and it makes sense.
Okay,
Yes,
I didn't see that.
I think if
By
Teddy,
the way, he probably just dislocated his shoulder again, because he's just always hurt.
or a concussion or something.
Now,
Danny,
would they release
Bortles?
or like
No.
what would they do? Like,
No, they would just
go
win
to the bench.
Bortles would be struggling. It would be an example of the Jaguars recognize how good of a roster they have. They get Bridgewater. I think Bridgewater, if he's traded, he's going to the AFC South. One of the either Titans because of the Mariota A, injury concerns, and B, he's mobile. Deshaun Watson, because if he gets hurt again,
he's kind of mobile.
Mariota.
No, good.
Bridgewater. True.
He used to be a lot more mobile.
Well, he's more mobile than the guy we have as our backup. You know
Very
what I'm saying?
true.
So I think one of those 3 teams he would go to. So that's my.
So, I mean, I haven't watched any of the Jaguars preseason game. Like, has Bortles looked like shit or something?
Oh, he's dumpster fire.
Okay.
And he's.
I mean,
Bortles.
he stinks.
Okay.
We got to get to a break.
Oh.
That's all right. Whatever you want.
No, we can get to one. But listen, I want people to hang on here because Gabe Kaplan made a good move tonight. But we're going to talk. Obviously, we're going to get the 5 for 5 Eagles talk continuing, okay? 5 up, 5 down on guys to make it. We can.
We can skip that. I mean, we think we covered the roster pretty much.
You know what's funny why we can skip it, Mike?
Because there's not 5 of each?
It doesn't fucking matter, babe. Because we're the champs of here. You know, champs of here. It doesn't matter.
Champs is here.
It just feels good because last year it mattered so fucking much. This conversation mattered so much last year when we did this show for this. It meant so much. All these fucking guys meant so much. And this year it just doesn't matter. What matters is when's 11 healthy and when's the right time for 11 to be healthy is the other part of it, right? You know, guys heal differently, like Mike was talking earlier about Maragos. Usually it's a year injury. You know what I mean? So for Maragos, November would be a year. October. When did he?
I think it's October.
Yeah, he was like an earlier. He was one of the earlier tears.
It was against Carolina.
One of the earlier
Was it
tears.
against Carolina? Was it?
I thought Maragos was against Carolina.
I thought it was for San Diego. Whatever. You're probably right.
Semantics. It was against somebody.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Hey.
Well, it could have been in practice.
Practice?
Nobody
You talking
knows.
about practice?
Nobody knows. So we'll go into a little Odubel talk, Gabe Kapler talk, Sixers searching for a GM conversation. Everybody's questions, comments, concerns. Head over, everybody on Facebook. Head over on the YouTube, Twitter. Head over to YouTube or the website, wherever the hell you want to go. We'll keep the conversation going.
We'll be here.
We're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere.
Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
HUD Radio. And every Wednesday night, though, we're brought to you by our certified public accountant. Gibson Mayer LLC. I haven't heard this bed before. I've been gone for a while. Gibson Mayer LLC. Find them on the web, GibsonMayer.com. Give us 5 to 8 to maybe 10 minutes, and we'll be back, fam.
Tom and Mike, AM in the PM, is brought to you by Gibson Mayer, LLC, certified public accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Mike from Tom and Mike AM in the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer, LLC, certified public accountants. 215-369-3300. Or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's www.gibsonmayer.com.
We're back. Tom.
Mike.
AM.
In the PM.
A2D Radio, brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC. Find them on the web, gibsonmayer.com. Live from the Real Talk Studios. Tom Renone, Michael Mataraki, Dan McGuckin, Ryan Brodo. The fucking ridiculous Phillies broadcast team that wants to show a fucking home run before a guy's fucking batting. You don't know baseball? You can't show that. You can't fucking show that.
They just mush their own team.
Show it in the first inning when he bats. You can't show it in the ninth when he's a winning run at the plate. You can't show it. Christ.
I want to know what the goddamn ground rules in that place are. The ball hits off the top of the fence, hits a rail, and comes back in. You tell me that rail's a home run? Get out of here.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I don't know how a rail's in play. I don't know how that's in play. It's not out.
You look at Citizens Bank Park. There's a fence on top of the wall.
Right.
If it hits that fence and goes back in, it's in play.
Listen, we started the show. We talked heavy Eagles. We'll continue Eagles talk if the fan wants to talk about it. Our poll question was, which Eagles veteran is most likely to be cut this season? You can get in on that. Who do you got? Chance Warmack, Kamar Aiken, Matt Jones, Steven Means. Still let us fucking know.
Anybody else?
There's going to be a lot of upsetment. I don't even know the word. I'm going to be upset. I'm not happy. This is a big-time season crusher to me. You can't continue to blow leads late in games when you're up on the road against a team that is now catching you now. Right, against a divisional team, you're worried about the team in front of you, and now the team behind you is creeping up. Now you're a full 3 games out of first place. I don't know what you are in the wild card as it stands right now, but this isn't playoff baseball. It's not how playoff baseball teams operate down the stretch. The good teams get going at this point of the year, not the other way around.
I'll tell you what,
it just doesn't. It's not how it works.
Anybody who thought the Nationals were done, I can understand why. But I'll tell you this, I'm afraid of the Nationals right now. And I think what happened this week was 2 things. Number one, it was addition by subtraction. You had a very disgruntled Daniel Murphy who wasn't healthy, was playing a little first, a little second, not really swinging the bat very well. A disgruntled Matt Adams who was playing a little first, a little outfield, coming off the bench, wasn't real happy. Both of those guys got shipped out. And now all of a sudden, your clubhouse is a much friendlier place. And, oh, by the way, the fact that the GM maybe had a little bit of a fire sale just lit a fire under those guys.
It happens.
I'll go back to 2006 with the Phillies. They were out of it. They traded Bobby Abreu and Corey Lido, and then all of a sudden got right back into the pennant race.
You see what a helicopter ride does?
Yep.
So,
it was a plane, but
whatever.
I hear you.
Semantics. they were in the air. Oh, a lot of people chiming in over on YouTube here. Ralph claims the King's here. I don't know where the King is.
Wilder, stop calling him King Ralph. Blow his head up.
No, Ruth, the simple fact that we would be passing more than we should with Sproles in the lineup, but we got some Eagles stuff going on. Eagles 13-3. Me of everything was saying earlier. Kevin talking about the new tackle rule. We'll talk about that in a few. Me of everything, and the Phillies blew it again. They prove more and more every game they're not a playoff team. I agree with that. Mike Parker says, well, that was disappointing.
Yes,
Zeke says we're in big trouble. Ralphie kissed the NL East goodbye. Zeke saying we're coming in hot. Me of everything, these fucking Phillies are a disgrace. Somebody needs to calm me down. I don't know if you're going to get it here. Zeke, the pitching has been our glue all year. It's coming undone. And it is to a point. Listen, we talked about it before we came on the show. Okay, because everybody wants to point fucking fingers at certain players on this baseball team, when as a whole, nobody's got it done consistently but one guy. One guy. Name me another guy outside of Aaron Nola who's been nothing but fucking consistent, and I will wait for that answer. Who is it? Nobody.
You're talking all year.
All year.
Okay, I'm with you.
Nobody. He's been the consistent piece that hopefully tomorrow against the best pitcher in the NL, hopefully he brings his A game, because this is where you need him. The end of losing streak and to try to save some face in this series.
Well, and you know that there's going to be people out there that say Maikel Franco. Okay, tell me what he was hitting on June 1st.
Yeah, because he was getting run out of town.
People are going to say Caesar. Caesar's hitting 265, and he's been there all year. The guy's a lifetime 290 hitter.
Underachieved. Underachieved. You know, a bunch of players on this baseball team have underachieved, right? And we pointed certain guys, and I know we were talking about Herrera.
$20 million dickhead at first.
Yeah, and his slumps, and I get it. And I get it. Herrera's not played well. And I'm not in the business of making excuses for a guy. All I'm going to say is when your manager is Mr. Confidence Builder and a guy who's struggling, who was one of the hottest hitters in the NL at some point, but where you decide to do genius is bat him 8th or bat him 7th, well, then just don't play him then. If you want to build his confidence and try to get him going, I don't know, maybe put him in the 2-hole for a game. Maybe lead him off for a game. Maybe move him up in the lineup and see if that can get him going of some sort.
So you're gonna hit this guy who's batting .218 either second or fourth all year, but you won't move Herrera up? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and he won't move him up when he's struggling, but you won't move Santana down when he's struggling? I don't see the difference here, Gabe. Because why? Because you're paying one guy a ton of money? That's why? So that's coming from upstairs then, which means you don't have control over your goddamn baseball team then. That means somebody upstairs who's writing a check out has control of a baseball team. That's not how it works. That's not how it should work. And I'm not here to crush Santana as the only guy. That guy's making a lot of money. And I don't care how many walks you have. I don't care if you're the first Philly since Pete Rose. They have 100 walks, and you got whatever as a switch hitter. Like, I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
Well, I mean, you go around the entire diamond. You catchers, young kids, lots of strikeouts. They're young kids. Okay, Alfaro, highest strikeout rate in Major League Baseball. I don't care. He's a young kid. He's going to hit. You know, we talked about Santana at first. Caesar, underachieving all year at second.
Underachieved, yep.
Shortstop, it's been a hot mess all year until Cabrera got here. Franco.
And he coughed one up tonight.
Yeah.
You know, where you got to get a job done.
Right.
Base loaded, one out.
Yeah, exactly. Franco, didn't even start his season until June 1st. Outfield, Hoskins didn't get hot until he went to the home run derby. Your right field has been a mess until, they finally went with Williams and stuck with him, and now the kid's hitting. But that was what, June? Before they finally gave up on Aaron Altair and
let the kid go play.
And let the kid go play.
Which was a big mistake from Gabe Kapler early on in the year. Where it should have been Nick Williams' job from the jump. Shouldn't even been a rotation or a platoon there.
Right.
Should have been Nick's job from the jump for the body of work from the year before.
Right.
Where you sort of earned it as a young kid. They get a chance to play every day. And now we've proved him wrong there. Tonight's the first night where he actually got smart and moved Quinn to left, and brought Odubel in and moved Hoskins to first. That's the first time all year he's been smart like that. So how many games has he lost because of that? Right? I know people wanted to point the finger the other night. Ball hitting the gap Sunday night against the Mets, right? And Odubel bobbles in. There's no excuse there. And then whatever run scores. Well, if you had a left fielder who could fucking move, that ball's probably cut off. But you're the ones who went out and signed the first baseman for $22 million when you have a first baseman.
Who now has to play left field.
I understand that you want to go out and you want to sign somebody and spend money and make a splash. But it's got to be the right splash. It's got to be the right move. I can't stand watching what I watched late in this baseball game tonight. Okay? And it starts with moving runners. All right, you got first and second, no outs. Lay a bunt down with Hernandez there. Move a runner, play some small ball in a one-run baseball game where you're leading on the road. Try to tack on an extra run. Odubel comes up in a big spot, one out, bases loaded, pops up, Boer ends up getting out. What did I sit here and say to you guys?
Say we're going to lose.
We're going to lose this game because baseball's an easy sport when you don't capitalize on opportunities. And when you're not capitalizing on opportunities from veterans aren't getting it done, that's a big-time problem to me. You went out and brought in vets that are supposed to help get it done, and they haven't gotten it done consistently enough.
Right.
You do nothing to shake your lineup up in terms of moving guys around in your lineup, ever. You never hit and run. You play zero fucking small ball, and you sit back and wait for a 3-run homer like you're built like the 08 Phillies when you're not. When you're not. And you want to be Mr. Analytical. The game in San Diego, you're down 1-0. Roman Quinn's up first and second. Okay?
Put a bunt down.
You put a bunt down. Or no, sorry, man on first. You put a bunt down. You move him over. You play. You hope, okay, I got 2 at-bats, a chance to get a single and tie the game. Mm-hmm. So you want to be Mr. Analytics. What has a higher percentage chance of happening? Roman Quinn hitting a 2-run homer there? Or you moving a runner over and you playing for 2 opportunities to score a run? What's a higher percentage, a single or somebody hitting a 2-run homer? What's the higher percentage, Gabe? It's easy. It's a chance to get a single. The game's been played a certain way forever, and we're gonna reinvent it through the course of 162 games. We're gonna reinvent how we go through our bullpen early on in the year, and there's people out there that sit around and crown this dude and love this dude, and his in-game decisions are terrible.
But Tom,
they're terrible.
You didn't know that his swing plane against right-handed pitchers that throw in the low 90s is superb?
Yeah, like, what does that even mean?
Fuck if I know.
You know, and then he's talking about, whoa, you know, throwing these guys, throwing, you know, Roman Quinn or throwing these other guys was entertaining to the fans. What, dude? What are you talking about? Shut the fuck up.
It wasn't entertaining to me. I sat there through it.
Like, stop talking. It's just unbelievable.
After the 5th inning, we were on to the second game. Great.
And listen, no, it's not kiss the playoffs goodbye, Kyle. It's not. You're not there yet. You're close to being there, okay? But you still control a lot of things.
Yeah.
You can still get hot. Things can still start to go right for you.
You don't kiss the playoffs goodbye until you're 4 to 5 out in the wild card.
Yeah, and right now you might be a game out. I have to go check it. I
think it's a game out.
You're a game out, and you have a lot of baseball left. Has it been good? No. You know, but you got to hope that some of these vets start getting going, and you get better starting pitching. Because let's be real, Matt Klentak did make some good moves, during the trade deadline here. Okay, but moves he did not make was bringing in another top of the line rotation guy, which we sat on here and talked about him doing. Okay, we talked about how pitching wins, and you have a Pivetta and Eflin. Now Eflin pitched really well, but you had a Pivetta who started to pitch better, but you had a guy like Pivetta that was really good, got bad, where at the time the deadline he wasn't throwing well. You have an opportunity to go get an Archer, okay? Everything's in front of you. You can't go – this is what I have problems with. You can't go make little moves and not make a splash if you're trying to really compete. Like, Asdrubal Cabrera is a really good move. It's a good move. Not a great Wilson Ramos, a really, really good move in my opinion. Yeah. Okay? Neither one is going to take your offense from being below average to now average.
Right.
It's not enough. It's not enough firepower. These are good baseball players. These aren't generational guys. You got a starting pitcher out there that the fucking Pittsburgh Pirates outbidded you for. Okay? That's a fucking problem. That team signs nobody. Ask Andrew McCutcheon, he told you. Okay? He said, for 20 years I was here, we didn't make a move. And now they want to go get Archer. Okay? And I'm not saying the Archer is the end-all, be-all, but it puts you in such a better spot than you were.
But he immediately becoms a number 2 on this team.
It's disgusting. It's almost the king into nothing move he's getting to. And I liked every one of his moves, but now I'm starting to question it. Because I think what this fan base did, and I might have on the West Coast too, is you overvalued some of these moves. Maybe some of these moves were overvalued because of what we had. Because we didn't have an everyday shortstop, right? So you go get a Cabrera who's playing good baseball, but for a lousy baseball team. Sometimes them moves work, okay? But he hasn't crushed the baseball. He hasn't put us over the top, and he's been up in big spots throughout this year since he's came here.
He's won us a couple games, and he's failed just as many times as he's come through.
And I get that's part of it. And failure is part of the game of baseball. But Mr. Glue, Mr. Confidence, Mr. Coconuts.
Go spit out some ice cream.
To me, that's all well and good. You can be great with your players, and you can give your players confidence, but you can't get away from the way the game has always been played. And that's my biggest issue with him. My issue with him is never adjustments in his lineups. It's like, well, Caesar's my leadoff hitter. Well, you're batting a guy leadoff who doesn't steal bases.
Because he makes his lineups 3 weeks beforehand on his fucking laptop in a coffee shop. Did you see that thing on MLB Network about what he's like, oh, this one place in Northern Liberty is my go-to spot to create lineups and this shit. He goes and sits there, buys a coffee every day, and makes his lineups. Because he makes it 3 weeks beforehand in a coffee shop in Northern Liberties.
Good Lord.
It says a lot about a guy. Right, Danny? It does. You can't.
And yet somehow Joe Girardi is still unemployed.
Yeah, and this is a feel game. This isn't an all analytical game and numbers game. Do they bounce off of your feel? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it's a feel game. When you go to your bullpen and make a decision late in games, it's a feel, too. Yeah, you're basing off numbers, too, but you base off a feel. A guy can have the best numbers in the world facing a hitter, okay? But if your guy's worn out, that's a feel, right? It's not all numbers. The feel comes in, and I don't see him ever have a feel for the game. I just don't see it.
So I had a question for you guys.
Oh, this guy.
Because we talked when Gabe was hired that, this was Klentak's guy, and if Gabe failed and got fired, Klentak was going to go as well. Do we think Klentak actually has the balls to make a move after the season and go get somebody who's a better fit or that has a better feel? Or do you think he's just going to ride or die with this guy?
Oh, I think he's going to ride or die.
I doubt he'd get rid of him after a year.
Yep, I don't see it happening.
Right.
That'd be like the same thing with Doug after Doug's first season. Oh, fire this dude. Like, I really don't.
That's fair. I mean,
there's no chance in hell, Mike, he does that. Because they've been running with this whole storyline, which is true, of, we're ahead of schedule. We're ahead of schedule. This entire offseason and continuing through this season, it's going to be nauseating to hear them. Because that's constantly what we're going to hear. Oh, we're ahead of schedule, which we are. But as we always talk about, expectations change as you continue to win. And that's what we were doing. To answer your question, no chance in hell. Should he? Yeah, probably. And your point of how is Joe Girardi still unemployed, I have no answers for it because I freaking agree.
Look, I'm
a baseball guy.
I'm generally not a Gabe hater. I'm not a Gabe lover. I'm not a Gabe hater. He just happens to be the guy that's managing the club right now. Yeah. I hate the fact that we have an entire no-name fucking coaching staff that, when I see guys that are hitting 10, 15, 20, 25 points below their lifetime average, and I look at the hitting coach and the assistant hitting coach, and they're guys I've never heard of in my freaking life before they became on the staff here. The only guy on this coaching staff that's worth a goddamn thing to me right now, actually there's two. It's Dusty Wathan, because I think he's been great at third base this year, and Kranitz, because I think Kranitz should have been the pitching coach last year, and McClure should have been way out of here. So that, to me, I think his staff is way overrated, and I think he is a guy who just doesn't have a feel for the game.
Hold on, that's not true.
What's not true?
Kyle, the Phillies aren't the fourth most liked team in this city because that's fraudulent.
That's the Flyers.
That's a fucking lie comment. That has no truth or to that statement at all. There's zero truth or backing to that statement, period. Right. The Flyers will always be the fourth. They're a niche. It's a niche sport, okay? It's a cult following here, and it's a select group. Now, do we all love the Flyers? Yes. But it's not in our top three. And if you go and poll the majority of the city, which you obviously don't have a pulse for right now, they will tell you that the Flyers are the fourth, besides your diehard Flyers guys. And most of them guys don't like the other three sports or like one of them. You're real diehards.
Yeah, no,
you're over diehards.
Real Flyers fans are creepy as fuck, dude. I've argued with a lot of them. And it's so weird. I'm arguing against the Philly team, but it's like they'll take these super weird shots at the Sixers, and it's like, wow, they're just hockey fans or fucking weirdos.
Mike personally, I'm a baseball guy. Phillies are number 2 to me in the city, I guess. Yeah, they're 2 to me. The 2 or 3 between the Sixers, they rotate.
Well, I was going to say,
you know what I mean? It fluctuates. Like when the Sixers are on, the Sixers are. I
think this is real simple, to be honest with you. I think the Eagles are 1.
Yeah.
Flyers are 4. And the Sixers will bob back and forth 2-3, depending on who's better at the time.
Yeah.
Or the person.
Or the person, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and, on those occasions where if you look back a couple of years ago, the Sixers were a 10-win team, and the Flyers were actually playing well, they may flip-flop a little bit. But and believe me, I love hockey. I love the Flyers. I'm just being real about it. It is still very much in this city the fourth sport.
It is. And I know, what did he say? So we have somebody else chiming in. Alex. Sanji chiming in. How's it going, fellas? What's up, Alex?
What's up, Alex?
My whole thing is it's impossible to say that the Phillies are fourth because, all right, you have the Eagles, obviously. If you eliminate this whole Super Bowl ring, this whole Super Bowl parade, this whole Super Bowl win, who's the team that had the most recent championship? The team we always talk about. That's the Phillies. Right. And I know it was 2008, but we always talk about that team. to where that team is special. Therefore, we always look back on it. We're always talking about Phillies. Oh, when can we get there? 2 weeks ago when they had the freaking ceremony over the weekend about 2008, you know who came out? Phillies fans. Oh, but they're number 4. Stop.
Yeah, I don't agree. You know, it has nothing to do with the Mets coming and selling out their stadium or anything like that. It's a cheaper ticket, and 2, people book these trips and travel all over. You know, you want to say that? Well, when the Phillies were in Petco, 2,700 goddamn miles away. Okay, there was more Phillies fans than Padres fans. So what's the point? What's the point? So now it's a 4 sport. Will we travel that well? No, I don't buy into it. Me of everything, whatever city you were born in or closest to, that's the teams you root for. I'm sorry, but that's my beliefs. That's everybody's beliefs on this couch too, brother.
No, Amen. It's because Nitro Freak is trying to take over the chat by preaching about how he's an Eagles fan and a Yankees fan.
And that all that matters in Philly is the Eagles.
No wonder he considers the Phillies 4th because, oh, wait, he's not a fan of the Phillies. How about that? See how that works?
Right. Yeah, see how interesting and easy that one is?
Correct the case. I will go back to your one point, though, Tom. Talking about how some of these moves, you know, on paper when they first happened, you know, the Cabrera move, not necessarily Ramos move, but, you know, the moves that Clintack actually did make this season. And you and I got an argument about it in the chat when Doug thought I was, like, hitting the panic button with Clintack. I can label them now as maybe they were Band-Aids. And I know that's more of like a football terminology, but in all honesty, we look at it, when you're trying to lock up a playoff spot, when you are, no matter what, if you're ahead of schedule or not, and you have the opportunity to go out and make splashes constantly, whether it's a Hamels, Archer, Machado, I can go down the list because that's what we've done the last month with this team, and you don't do it, and then you make these little Band-Aid moves, which, yeah, I mean, there's time left. No one's hitting the panic button. They can all get hot at some point. Like, we're not saying it's done. But at the moment, it looks like Band-Aid moves, and then it just goes back to the original point of, is this GM going to constantly just do that and think that's okay?
Well, is it second and third moves? Because when you miss out on a golden goose,
yep.
Right? I mean, you were all in. He was all in on Machado, missed out on Machado, and he's become your secondary moves that fill what you were really shooting for, which is a good signing as Odubel Herrera. I don't think anybody has a problem with it.
No.
Obviously, nobody has a problem with Wilson Ramos.
No, I like that signing.
No one has a problem with any of the moves that he's made, but if you think that these are A-level moves, you're mistaken. And I don't care what MLB Network or CBS Sports said that, you know, the Phillies won the trading deadline because they went out and got this guy, this guy, and this guy. Okay, great. You know, Clintack made some nice moves. That's all they are. They're nice moves. They're not long-term game changers.
No, and if you wanted to change your lineup and change how you were hitting, you know, you go all in for Manny then.
Yeah.
You know, if you really wanted to change a lineup, and not that he's, you know, has been hitting the cover off the ball in L.A., but just the point. You want to change a lineup, you know, to me, is Odubel Herrera and Wilson Ramos, or I can get Manny Machado. I don't think it's really a question, right? And I'm not saying that these moves can't be successful or can't work, because I think both have played well, right? In the time they played well. It's just neither one is going to take us over the hump.
Right, and I understand.
But you need guys to get hot in the
lineup.
You really do.
You do, and I understand that one of the reasons that everyone says Clintack is winning these deals is because they've given up next to nothing.
Yeah.
And I totally get that. And you know, go back a month and a half. Yes, you know, the Orioles may have been asking way more for Machado than you wanted to part with, and it's fine. We don't need to revisit that. These moves are in the grand scheme of things, Ryan, it's a great word, Band-Aids. This is a team that is, again, ahead of schedule that was falling apart, and these guys are Band-Aids.
Yep.
Because you can't have Scott Kingery playing shortstop every day, hitting 231. You know, you can't have either Alfaro or Knapp striking out in 3 or 4 plate appearances every day. You can't have guys coming off the bench that can't hit, can't draw walks, whatever the case may be. I mean, you can only go through your Mitch Waldings, Trevor Plouffe, Dylan Cousins, you know, these guys from the minors so many times before, you know, you just want to take off your shoe and smack somebody in the back of the head with it.
Yeah, I just, you know, everything's going to be under a microscope more now because we are in it and we're not playing good baseball right now. You know what I mean? Everything shifts. You know, if we were winning and we won tonight, we're not probably up in arms about some of the moves and some of the things that are going on. I mean, baseball's such a day-to-day game, and, you know, the great thing about it is you play tomorrow. You know what I mean? You can get the bad taste out of your mouth and go win a couple in a row and change it. You know, that's the thing. I mean, this team has the ability to change it. You know, but like, I want to talk about the fan base who wants to just pick on, like we said, certain guys instead of a whole group of guys that haven't played well.
I'm glad you said that, because I do want to talk about your son for a minute, because as the coach in the room, like, I want to know what you're seeing, because this is a guy, I mean, Memorial Day, we're talking about this guy potentially winning the batting title. And, I mean, now the batting average is down almost 100 points. Slugging percentage and on-base percentage are both down over 100 points. I understand the confidence absolutely has something to do with it. I also feel like he might be playing hurt. But as a coach, as somebody who sees it mechanically, like, everybody knows that he's a streaky hitter. I want to know what you're seeing that has caused this prolonged slump.
Well, I thought he was always real selective and really zoned up on stuff and really knew the zone well. I thought that was something about Odubel that you could hang your hat on, that he really knew the zone well and would work counts on you, would foul off pitches, seemed to always be locked in even when he wasn't locked in. But what I noticed is a guy who pulling off a lot of things. You watch his head on a lot of things. Now the helmet, you know, the helmet's coming off on swings. I just think he's trying too much. I honestly just believe he's trying too much. He got in such a funk, hasn't got out of that funk, you know, starts to get the pine a little bit, and then you even over-try sometimes. And, you know, listen, there's other things that, you know, I get it defensively. He hasn't been perfect. I get all that, but I found that he doesn't know what his zone is right now and hasn't known for a minute. And that's what I point to right there, is that he'll swing at pitches that aren't his pitch, and he lets things go that are right down the pipe. And that's the perfect example when a guy is just all out of whack. And he's all out of whack. Like I said, if you're going to bat him 7th or 8th, just sit him down. You know, you go one way or the other, Gabe. Okay, either because you need this guy to be right. And for anybody out there that can sit here and tell me that you don't need this guy to be right to make a run at the playoffs, you're fucking smoking something. And it ain't something that's legal in a lot of states.
No, he's absolutely the straw that stirs the drink. If you don't have him hitting the ball in September, you don't win. You just don't.
I just don't say it. You need him. I mean, you need him to get at least close to the stretch he was on, somewhere where that guy is. We need to find that guy again. Okay? And to me, finding that guy isn't batting him 7th or 8th. Then put him down. If you want to find him, Gabe, and you want to play him, and you want to try to get him out of it, then move him up in the lineup like we talked about. For the people out there that want to point, and it's just all Odubel, and it's Odubel's fault for this, and it's Odubel's fault for that, but we don't talk about anybody else in this lineup that hasn't hit, okay, or hasn't hit, period. We give Hoskins free passes for the first 3 months of fucking baseball. And I'm going to be real. Why? Because he's a white guy? Right? And it's the same thing we did with Chase Utley. Like, Chase could do no wrong in this fucking city, no matter what he did. And you had Howard and you had Rollins, who were damn good baseball players and probably really the catalyst for this baseball team in 08 when we won it, get shit over everything. Okay? Like, Chase Utley could go rape his wife, and we would say, guess what, Danny? He just plays the game hard. He just plays the game right. That's what we would fucking say. And I'm not making excuses for the guy. He's not played good enough. And I told Sweeps and Wilson in a text today, you haven't seen me up in arms about Roman Quinn playing over because I like Roman Quinn. Mike knows I love Roman. It ain't an issue about talent.
We've been on the Roman Quinn train for 3 years.
I love Rome. You know what I mean? But, like, I don't go make the move for Bohr. I just move Hoskins to first and I get Quinn in the outfield.
Yep.
Okay, I don't need to go make the move for Bohr. I know everybody wants – I like Justin Bohr, okay? I really do. If I didn't have another first baseman that I could go to, no question, that'd be the guy I'll go out and sign. Now, do I like him as a battle at the bench, as a spot start guy? Absolutely. But if I'm looking to move something and I want to get creative, Gabe Kapler, Matt Klintak, maybe I move Carlos Santana, okay? Maybe I see if somebody will bite on the deal because the guy has a pedigree of being a good baseball player. It's not like this is a first really bad year for him. He has a pedigree of being a pretty good hitter, played on a winning team for the most part with Cleveland.
Stop and rewind for a second, though, because go back to the previous point where if you want to play Roman Quinn, you play him in left, you move Hoskins to first base. Then you don't have to go out and get Bohr because you got a switch hitter in Carlos Santana now coming off your bench.
Now coming off your bench. And if you want to give Roman a day and that, then you can still move Hoskins left field if you need to for a game here, game there. You know what I mean? I just don't, I don't see it. What we got over on the YouTube? You've been to more Phillies games this year as a non-fan than most of the people on this couch. Now knock off your bullshit. Now knock off your shit, dude, because that's a fucking lie. Okay, because this guy goes to way too many fucking games next to me, okay? And I've gone to enough. He's gone to enough. Rye's gone to enough.
Gone to 6.
I just traveled 2,700 fucking miles, dumbass, to see the Phillies. So you're gonna question my fucking fan on my fucking couch? The fuck out of here with that stupid shit. Okay? Don't question dudes who just traveled and made a whole fucking road trip about going to see the Phillies, and you've been to more games than us? I just dropped a fucking $1.5 grand, Daddy, so shut the fuck up. And I ain't happy about it.
I'm going Tuesday, bro.
Get in here. Get in here. Don't fucking question the couch.
Nola versus Scherzer at the bank.
I'll
be there.
You don't even need to bring me into the discussion.
Well, Kyle says most are free, and absolutely you're going to go with free shit. Nobody disagrees there. But don't say you've been to more games than people on the couch, because now you don't know what you're talking about. At least fucking attack somebody else. Go to somebody else that we don't know about. You know what I mean? Say, I watch more games, been to more games than this guy. Then maybe we go, oh, maybe he has. You can't come at us, because you can't come to the guy who just traveled fucking all this way to see the Phillies and say you've been to more games or whatever the fuck you're saying. And some of the money you gave me, thank you for the lost bets, because I used it out there.
I think we've been to like 10 combined games that aren't in Philadelphia, that are Phillies games.
I'm just laughing because if I actually totaled the amount of Phillies games, Iron Pigs games, Reading Fightins, and Lakewood Blue Claws games that I've been to in the last 3 years,
oh God,
it's probably like 6 months worth of mortgage payments.
It's aggressive.
It is aggressive. I'm a little too aggressive. I ain't even gonna lie.
But
it's
hey,
bad.
we don't hate you for it.
No. I try
a good problem to have.
I try to be an educated sports talk radio show host. You know.
I appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
TTP saying, "Yo, what up, TT?
What up, TTP?"
I know Parker's going at it with Kyle. Just keep taking him down, limb by limb, Park man. Ralphie said,
no, from what I saw on Twitter this week, he was already taken down by a bunch of people. That's all I'm going to say about that.
It's not the first time, won't be the last.
Ralphie D says, your son stinks to get a clue. Okay. There's no clue to be gotten, babe, because I never said he's been fucking good. I've never sat here and said, this guy's been good. This guy, can do no wrong. Like, I'll tell you, he hasn't played well at all.
Let's go back to this for a second, because the one thing that I'm seeing that I think could be corrected with a bunch of tee work and some soft toss is I feel like he's swinging too much at the pitcher's motion and not so much at the ball. Because I've seen over the last month or so a lot of at-bats where Odubel just gets it in his head that he's going to be getting a fastball or he's going to be getting a curve or whatever it is. He wants to sit on something, and the pitcher will go into the stretch. And normally it happens when the pitcher's in the stretch. And it's like he goes into the stretch, and Odubel just wants to time it. And he's striding before the pitcher's really even gotten into the motion because the pitcher's varying the delivery time. And I think if he just gets back to doing, some tee work, some soft toss, swinging at the ball instead of the motion, he could break out of this pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is when you get in slumps, too, is you start guessing.
Yeah.
And there's probably been a lot of guessing out of him.
I'm sure it has.
And you can just guess that's been going on with him, too, or any guy who gets in a slump like this. This isn't an okay slump. This isn't something that I can sit here and say because I like the guy that, it's okay. But for this baseball team, we need him to hit. We need him to hit. You don't have to love him in center field, but after all this, he still leads all NL center fielders in RBIs. After all this.
Yeah.
And we just want to give up on the guy at 26 years old and say because Roman's here that, Roman needs to start in center field every day. Well, I don't know how that goes on a team that a guy was your catalyst for a minute. Look, I just don't know how that works. I don't know how you just do that.
I'm sorry if you're hitting 360 in mid-May and you're leading the National League in hitting at Memorial Day. I mean that's over 2 months into the season. That's not a fluke. You can hit. So, it's not like this guy's a flash in the pan, and we've seen it. 2 years ago, last year. Yes, we understand he's streaky, big time streaky, and nobody's denying that. But this is just a prolonged slump that he's just going to have to figure out how to get out of.
No, guys need to make adjustments. You know, we talk about adjustments, the game of adjustments. You got to make adjustments both ways. You know, obviously there's been some adjustments pitchers-wise on how they're attacking them. You know, what's his response to it? You know, I don't know what it is. You know, I know his timing has just been way off. I said I feel like he's pulling off everything. You know, everything's rolled over.
Yeah.
You can just know when a guy's not going well. You know, I would love to see him, you know, take a ball the other way. I would love to see Gabe, you know, make him bunt for a hit, right? You know,
Yeah.
Can we give a sign to, like, make the guy bunt for the hit, feel the ball hit the bat, get a good bunt down, get on base, and maybe grow some confidence that way. You know, so that's all stuff that, you know, I wish
And
as a manager he would do to help his players sometimes.
And to your earlier point, I would love to see what kind of kickstart this lineup would have if you moved Odubel to the leadoff spot, dropped Caesar to 8, and just figured out everything else in between.
And just tried something.
I mean, if I'm making out the lineup card tomorrow, and this is me, I'm going Odubel 1, I'm going Roman 2 in left field.
Yep.
Okay? I'm going Cabrera 3rd at shortstop, Hoskins 4th at first base. If I can get Ramos back in the lineup, I'm going Ramos 5th behind the plate, Franco 6th at third base, Williams 7th right field, Caesar 8th at second base.
I have no problem with that.
Try to get some more balance to the lineup and, you know, move some guys around and try to jumpstart it. I will give Gabe a little bit of credit because I did see a couple of times last week where his lineup was like switch left, switch right, left, right, left, right, left, right, all the way through. Like he did work on getting some balance in the lineup, and he had a couple games where he moved Santana up to the 2-hole and batted Hoskins 4th and then just abandoned ship on it.
Yeah, and you know what?
Like, if you're going to try something, stick with it for a week.
And it's all great to be, you know, have a balanced lineup, but it doesn't matter if you're not hitting.
No, if you're not hitting the ball, right.
You know, and to that point, you know, it's like, dude, well, I'd rather just get my hot bats in the lineup.
Yeah.
And get him in positions where it doesn't have to be, well, this guy's batted 2 for me, so that's where he's got to bat. Or this guy's been my leadoff guy, and that's where he has to stay.
Well, and I saw Parker made a comment earlier that Justin Bohr should start at first base against 75% of right-hand pitchers that they face. And I'm all for that because I think it does a couple things. Number one, again, it gives you a switch hitter off the bench in Carlos Santana. It's a guy that we talked before we went on the air. It's a guy that plays first base, and now we also know that they're willing to use him at third base after the little Gabe experiment at the end of the game Sunday night. So, you know, you now have a corner infielder who's a switch hitter that you could bring off the bench and start a guy who has a history against all these pitchers in the National League East.
Yeah,
to me, it's a no-brainer.
And can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
Which you need.
Which you saw tonight.
You know, where a guy like Gabe who sits around and waits for it,
yeah.
You know, you need a few more guys to get the ball out of the ballpark. Yeah, sorry, John Clark just put a tweet out. This might be the worst loss of the Phillies season. A real punch to the gut. And I think a lot of fans would agree with that comment,
yep.
even though it's like we're not in panic mode, and you shouldn't be in panic mode yet. But, you know, on that meter, can you be a 7 right now? 7.5? Okay.
Panic
out of 10?
mode? Yeah.
7.
You go
7.5 because you're getting there. You're getting closer. You start seeing 5, 6, 7 games out. Then we're full on. We're red. We're like, you know, we're tilted all the way here. Where it's breaking, the tilt's breaking, and we're cracking the thing. You know,
if today's date started with September instead of August, you'd be pushing 8.5, 9. I think when the calendar shifts to September, these are games that you have to have. I mean, realistically, they needed to have it tonight, but the panic doesn't go sky high just because you still have time. September, oh yeah, you're panicking.
Well, I'd also say if we didn't finish 7 out of the last 11 against Atlanta, if it was something different, if it was more split or whatever, then the panic would go from a 7 maybe to an 8 or 9, regardless if it's September or August right now.
I'll tell you what, though. Perfect. I mean, you're spot on that 7 out of the last 11 against Atlanta. The problem that I have is that 4 games in between against Colorado.
Oh, that's going to be killer. Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, when you start that first series against Atlanta before you go, you know, to Colorado, you got to be within a game.
Absolutely.
And you have to come out of that first Atlanta series at least a game up.
I just think the reason why everyone's, again, like we said, we're not panicking, but this is crushing. It's because it makes September a lot harder
than it needs to be, right?
For a young team that wasn't really supposed to be here.
Yep.
So, and a young coach or a coach that doesn't really know what he's doing, and an organization where it has a bit of an identity crisis, especially when it comes to hitting. Yeah. And a pitching staff that's kind of sliding right now.
Yeah, from this is what happens when things start going wrong. They start happening everywhere. Sir Anthony has been good. I mean, I want to say he's been great, but he's been good. It was a breath of fresh air to have like a guy that you can say, okay, he's your closer, and you expect closers are going to blow games. But this was this tailor-made blow job happening tonight when you just have opportunities to tack on and you don't get it done. And baseball is a sport where I preach it all the time, man. If you have bases loaded and no outs and you don't get a run in, 95% of the time the team takes it to you the next inning, or at least gets a run or two. Yeah. It's just the way the game works. It's weird like that, and you can just – it's the same thing in other sports too, where you just feel something bad happening. And that's what happened tonight. Well, again, the great thing is tomorrow you got a chance at 1:05 to go get one. And it's a quick turnaround tomorrow. And you get the bad taste out of your mouth.
It just kills me about this, down there playing Washington, is everyone says that ballpark is, just plays so big. And when Zimmerman hit that ball, I sat here and I said, nope, don't think that's got the distance. And then all of a sudden Williams just is drifting back. And I'm like, son of a bitch, it's off the wall. Well, no, it's not off the wall. It's gone.
It's gone.
But you saw in the All-Star game, it's not a small ballpark. I mean, it's a decent-sized ballpark, but it doesn't play that big anymore.
It's just a tough one.
It is a tough one.
All right, boys. You want to call it a night?
You want to hit any Sixers at all, or you want to get that next week?
It's up to you guys. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere.
I'm running out of gas, man.
All right, man.
Yeah, you guys gas.
Call it a night. It's all good.
We'll say the Sixers GM search for next week because it's not going to end by next week.
No, it definitely. Right. If it does, that means we sprinkled some little fairy dust out there and got them a GM.
We're helping people, helping people. All right, before Danny falls asleep, my head hits the table.
I got to be up at 6.
Mike's still going strong.
It's because it's what I do.
I'm on RV lag, big time. It's like a lot to make this one happen tonight.
You better fucking bring it next week then.
Yeah, well, I try to bring it. I thought I had some good points.
It's already been brought in.
It's already brought then. I mean, what is part of it? If you look at the Nationals with their mini fire, so that lit a fire. That's what we were talking about earlier. And Harper is on a little bit of fire right now.
It's called addition by subtraction, boys.
It happens. Listen, I'd like to thank Gibson Mayer LLC for sponsoring every Wednesday night.
Yep.
Our certified public accountant.
Make them yours.
Find on the web, GibsonMayer.com. TTP saying peace. We have everything later, boys. Later, boys. A lot of Eagles coming up here. It's going to be all Eagles all the time with a little side piece of Phillies moving forward here in the next few weeks. It's going to be a great time. Defending champs, and we're going to go back-to-back, bitches. For another edition of Tom,
Mike,
AM,
in the PM.
A2D Radio. Thank you all for listening. We love you. For Tom Arnone, Michael Mataraki, Dan McGuckin, Ryan Brodo on the 1s and 2s. We out. Stay tuned tomorrow night. Hockey Happy Hour. A little 8:30 puck drops for you tomorrow night. So stay tuned for the boys on the Hockey Happy Hour. Best air in the fucking business. And I think Friday morning we're going to have a little agree to disagree special. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I just got back. We out. No, Dave. Lazy Booking was on Tuesday. Go check the replay, babe. They did a little switcheroo this week. We out.